Great success!
I think the retreat was extremely successful. It definitely blew away all of my expectations, and I think other people can attest to that as well. I think people really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it as well.
I think it was very successful. Even at the meetings now, you can see people, well, they may not sit in a different spot than they usually do. It's a lot more talkative. People are a lot more open to share, and there's a lot more joking around. So I think we're in a step in the right direction.
I think so far it definitely was successful so far. You can sense this at the meetings where there's just a little bit more warmth to everything, and people are excited and joking around, and it's hard to kind of focus on the facts because we all want to socialize now. And I think that's a good thing to see. But I think the measure of if it's successful or not is if this happens again, and if the next committee takes this up, and also in the next couple of weeks if we're able to continue this through, so that the energy that we have now doesn't disappear when we get back in September.
I think it's too early to tell. It's just been less than a week or so since we had almost 2 weeks since we had the retreat. So I think it's too early. I think it was a good start for everybody, and I think the real success is going to come down the road. We'll see how the brothers, change their behavior towards the fraternity. So I think that it's too early to tell, but as far as the events went, everybody enjoyed, and the committee had fun. So I think in that sense, it was a success. Great success!
Yeah, I think the retreat was a great success. I mean, not only from the perspective of people coming up and telling us they enjoyed themselves or they felt better, or if you go back and review the goals of what people wanted to get out of the retreat in the beginning, a lot of them were accomplished, and you can even see that on the documentation and the surveys we handed out afterwards. But I think in a lot of ways, we just as the central 6 people felt like the retreat accomplished what we had originally set out for it. When it comes to performance, it's great that the audience likes to show and stuff, but you always really know whether or not things have gone as well as you had planned or hoped or practiced prior to. So I walked away from that very happy. The greatest part of this whole retreat thing was that it all sort of came from internal, from active members who really cared and didn't like the way things were going and decided to just take change upon themselves. Brian for initiating it, that was wonderful.
It was an incredible experience for me at our first couple meetings to see people who were frustrated about the same things and willing to not just sit there and complain about it, but to actually go out and try to fix it.
He did a great job of making sure the meetings were on track, setting out agendas, coordinating things.
We're so flexible, we stood up where we were strong. You had different people leading different sections.
Danny had a wealth of knowledge when it came to retreat planning, just some ideas.
It was really cool to work with the people that I hadn't worked with in a really long time, or have been a part of the brotherhood and had no relationship and never had a decent conversation with any of them before.
Eric and his organization.
The whole setup process was fun. Watching Eric put, just little bits of black paper on in our space room, so it looked pretty terrible, but it was pretty fun.
I mean, when we talk about somebody who stays on top of you about things, probably received more emails from Eric in that 4 weeks than I have from professors across 4 years.
I actually loved being part of the committee. I got to know a lot of the brothers that never really got a chance to while I was a member.
I know them more than I know everyone else on DSP now.
So I think that was great, and I would encourage anyone who's in DSP now to try to do something like this and try to change the chapter towards what you wanted and why you joined it.
Me and Al, we've always been a team in everything, even beyond this. So us being able to sort of have that back and forth helped out a lot. Charlie, man, who's more enthusiastic about the retreat committee than Charlie, man? Yeah.
One of the things he was trying to get us to do was a game called Blindfolded Musical Chairs.
Blindfolding people to play musical chairs.
Blindfold musical chairs.
and thinking that no one would get hurt ever.
And Charlie would just always come with this great idea. He had this positive attitude, and he had these idea after idea after idea, you know. And although some of them were a little wild, you know, it was always great to hear.
Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop chop, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant us into the reservation. Default the pistol that you pay for. This pump the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be a counting all different ideas.
Take the blindfold off.
You drew a picture on my morning, but you couldn't make my day.
You should. Charlie, we having
I'm
fun?
looking down your darling and
It's a video.
I like this. Y'all took a different route from everybody. You guys look at this for a second. They actually just rolled this thing in half and drew the damn shit.
Alicia, June, enjoying yourself? Having fun? Awesome.
I know there were seniors on the retreat committee. Sharif, Alex, Brian is going away.
You know Brian's not going away, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna be in grad school.
He's a junior.
But Brian is not a senior.
He's a junior.
Oh.
That's 6 points, sorry.
Yep. It's definitely Jewish.
Anyone tell me what the S&P closed at? A relative number around the last couple days.
14,320.8
You are ambitious. Yeah.
bar.
Now this is where it gets a little interesting. I'm a sneakster and I'm pretty shameless. For about 3 years now, my testicles have been on Facebook. And nobody's reported it, so I guess people don't mind.
Send me on my way.